Hey guys, today I will show you how to create Spring Boot web application using Spring JPA, Hibernate Annotations, Timeleaf template engine, and PostgreSQL database. Now we should generate our project. So we should choose Maven, Java, latest and on snapshot or EC2 version, group. It's a reverse name of your company. For example, if you work in softserve.com, you should write com.softserve. But if it's your personal project, you can write your name and surname. Roman.andrusiak. Okay, now artifact. Here can be some name of project, for example, spring.study. Now description. Maybe the Spring study project. Now add some dependencies. It will be Spring Web. Then Spring JPA. Spring Data JPA. Now SQL. So we use PostgreSQL driver. We will use Timeleaf template engine. And we can use Hibernate validation to validate HTML forms. Now all okay, and we can generate our project. Okay, is it zipped? So we should unzip it. Now we can open it using IntelliJ IDEA. So we should click open. Choose it. Home XML or also project. Open as project. And now we should wait when project will build. Okay, project successfully built, but on your PC it could take a little bit more time because I had already downloaded same dependencies. Now we can create our main directories. It will be models, repositories, services, and controllers. Now we should create database. We can use pgadmin for Postgres. Now when pgadmin started, we should click open our server, database, right click of mouse button, create database and name. For example, Spring AppDB. Great. Okay. Now we can close it. Go to IntelliJ, open database plus data source, PostgreSQL. Okay, user, your password, and name of database. Click test connection. Database connected successfully, so you can click apply. OK. Now we have default opened console, but if you closed it, you can open it easy using this button, open default console. First one, we should create some table. For example, it will be database about cars. So create table car. Here should be unique primary key, so it will be ID int generated by default as identity primary key. It's one way to create auto incremental unique UID, but you can do it easier. But I think this way is better. You can write instead of all this code serial, but I prefer to use generated by default as identity. Next, we will create make and model. Make, it's varchar, not null. Model, it's varchar2, not null. And maybe some int, maybe year of production. It will be int, and we can give some check. Check maybe year of production must be bigger than 9020. Okay, and not null. Now we can create our table. I recommend to do a copy of all SQL code in resources. So new, maybe directory SQL. Here a new file. All SQL. And paste our code here. Now we can check our database. Public tables, we have table car. It's empty. Now we should connect the database to our Spring Boot application. So we should open resources, application properties, and here Spring data source dot driver class name, this one, equals org dot PostgreSQL dot driver. Okay, now Spring dot data source dot URL. You can copy it, click right button on your database properties and copy it. Now paste, then Spring data source dot username equals your username, and then Spring data source dot password your password. Okay, now database successfully connected to our project, so we can start creating classes. Creating first model will be class car. We should mark it with annotations entity and table. Here a name equals a name of a table in database. So we have table car with columns ID, make, model, year of production. So here a name car. We can assign data source to have quits. Okay, now we see that it's successfully connected. If we write car1, we will have error that no such table. Okay, now we have error because we don't have ID, but it must be present in Spring Boot application. So, annotation ID, Java persistence, then annotation generated value because we have auto incremented column ID, here strategy equals and enum generation type, and we write it. I will show you. Generated by default as identity. So generation type identity. Then annotation column. We don't use this annotation if we have a same name of column and same name of Java file, but I recommend often use this annotation, and here we have name ID. Now connect Java field private int ID. Okay, now we don't have error. Now we can create another fields. Private string make private string model and private int year of production. Now add annotations, column name equals make model and year of production. Okay, next one. In every one Spring entity should be non-parameter constructor, no arguments constructor. So generate constructor, select none, and we can add all getter and setters. Generate, getter, setter, generate all. Okay. Now our class is successfully finished, but we should add some validations. For ID, we don't need to add annotations because ID is auto-incremented, but we should add some annotations for make. For example, we should validate that make should be always present because we have here not null. So we have for it annotation not empty. And here we should write message for error. Message, for example, make should be present. Okay. Now we can create the same annotation for a model. But not make should be present, model should be present. Model should be present. And now some validation for a year of production. We here have that year of production should be bigger than 9020. So we will write annotation min, and here value equals 9021, and message year of production should be from 9021. Okay, now we can create a repository. Now create a repository, new Java interface, a car repository. Okay, we should mark it with annotation repository, then extends JPA repository. Okay, first file it will be class for which repository, so it's car, and second one it's a type of ID. So in class car we have int. So here we will use integer. And now we can successfully use our database. But I recommend, and I think all developers will recommend you, don't use car repository any repository in controllers. For an instance of it, you should create service. So we will create class car service. And here we will implement logic of a database. Mark with annotation service. And here we must auto-wire it repository. Private, final, car repository, use for it constructor, and we can mark with annotation to wire it, but when we have only one constructor, auto-wire it marks automatically, but you can use it. Okay, now create methods. We will create public methods. For example, first method to get all cars from repository. So it's public list of cars, get all, no parameters, and return car repository, find all. Okay, it's easy method. Next method, public a car get by ID. So here we should add parameter int ID, and we will return car repository find by ID, here ID, but it returns optional. But we know that with such ID we have car, so we cannot worry about error and create a stream find any. We know that here is only one car with such ID because we have unique UID. Find any, then or else, and we can do or else throw, but we don't have importance in study program, so we will use or else null. Okay. Next method, it's saving a new car. It will be public void save. Here car, and here is the car repository save car. And now edit method, public void edit, two parameters, car and ID. We will, for example, we can, here is few ways to change car, but we will use car set ID, and then car repository save car. And if a repository finds that he has a car with such ID, he wouldn't like a throw error, but he will rewrite car with such ID. And last method, delete, public void delete, here int ID, and car repository delete by ID. Okay, now we finish it with services, and now we can create controller. Java class car controller. Okay, it should be marked with annotation controller. We can create here a request mapping annotation. It's like a default URL, starting of URL for all mappings in this controller. So, for example, here it can be /cars. And now all get mappings, post mappings, put mappings, all mappings will be have at the start this URL. Then we should outwire here service, private, final, car service, and outwire by constructor. Outwire. Okay. Now let's start of creating mappings. First one, it will be get mapping to get all the cars. So it's a suitable URL. So here will be empty brackets. Next, public string, because we're returning HTML pages. Get all. Here we will add one parameter, model, to add key value to our HTML file. Model. Okay, and here model, add attribute. K will be maybe cars, because it will be all cars, and value, car service, get all. And now return some HTML page. Return, for example, cars. And in the place we should hold all our HTML pages. So new HTML page, cars. And now we see that it's successfully connected. Next will be get by ID. So get mapping slash ID. It's path variable, public string get by ID, model, and annotation path variable. Here a name of our path variable, ID, and ID. Now we can add to model our car. Model, add attribute, name car, car service, get by ID, ID. Okay, and return, for example, car HTML page. New HTML file, car. Now we can implement our HTML files. To use Timeleaf engine, we should add import to tag HTML. It will be under the video. Car. Okay. First, maybe implement cars. Here we should create for each. So it will be div with th each. So we are on cars. Let's check. Here we have list of cars. So we will get one car from cars. So it's for each like in Java. And now we can show some information about it. For example, we can create a, maybe th graph slash cars slash ID, and our ID equals car get ID. Okay, and here we should put some text. So it will be th text. For example, car get make plus class car get model. Okay, now let's implement a car page. Here we have only one car, so here we can create for a tag p th text. Okay, maybe okay, and dollar means that you are connecting to the key. For example, now we are on the HTML page car, so we have a connection to key car dot get ID. For example, here car dot get make, here car get model, and here car get year of production. Now we can try to add some cars using a database. Insert into car. What else? Make, model, and year of production values. Make, for example, Audi, example RS6, and year, for example, 2020. And we can insert little bit more cars, for example, BMW, and another Audi. Okay, now insert. And let's start our application. So default it starts on Tomcat web server on 8080 port, as you can see. Let's try to go local host 8080/cars, and we can see our 3 cars. And when we click at the sum of them, we will see information about this car. Now let's create methods to create, to edit, and to delete our cars. So to create new car, we should create get mapping and post mapping. And reason of it is that one page, it's only page on which we can create some, for example, some product. In our way, we should create car. But when we open page, for example, registration page or page of something, we don't change our database. We only change it when we click button create. So we will have get mapping, it will be a car creating page, and we will have a post mapping, it's button of creating our new car. So start with get mapping. There will be /cars/new. We have /cars, and here /new. Public string new car page. Here we will use model attribute. It creates like a model, but with nullable variables. Now I will show you. For example, it will be car, but import. But for example, here ID will be 0, make will be null, String model will be null, year of production will be 0. But we will have this key on our HTML file. And now we can return HTML file. For example, return new and create it. Right? HTML file new. Okay. And then we should create post mapping. Post mapping. For example, it can be /cars, same like at this get mapping, because we can use same link for get mapping and for post mapping, or for example for put mapping, but it could be same link for two get mappings. For example, post mapping here, empty brackets and public string, for example create car. Now we can catch our model attribute. If you first create this model attribute and you don't have in scope attribute with such a name, it will be nullable. But we will be on page new, and here we will have form with button create. So our button create can catch this model attribute, and it will be completed with inputted fields. So we can so here it will be car with all fields, but we should check is it valid. So we have annotation valid, Jakarta validation, and it checks these annotations, not empty, min, and but it throw errors, but you wouldn't see nothing. So you should create binding result next file to annotation valid. For example, if here will be, for example, some path variable, this binding result wouldn't work. He should be near annotation valid. Okay, first one, we should check binding result for errors. For example, if binding result has errors, we will return HTML page, this HTML page, and don't save this car. But if this didn't true, we can save our new car. So car service dot save car. Okay, and now return, for example, redirect to /cars. We will redirect to all cars page here. Okay, now we can create a page to edit car and page mapping button to apply editing of car. So first one, get mapping /edit /path variable id, because we should know what car we should to edit. Now public string edit car page. Here not model attribute, because we don't need nullable we don't need nullable variables. We need our car. So here will be model and path variable id int id. And now model add attribute, as here we will add only one car, so car, and car service get by id, and then return some HTML page. Return, for example, edit. New HTML file, edit. Okay, now page mapping. Here maybe only /id. Okay, public string. For example, date car. Here we will have pass variable. And here we shouldn't use model. We should use model attribute because we have in this scope attribute car, and now we can catch it using model attribute annotation. So we can copy it. We will catch a model with name car. It should be valid, and we have binding result. And now check. If binding result has errors, we will return edit page. Return edit. But if we don't have errors, we will edit our car. So car service dot edit car and ID. And now return redirect cars. Okay, and now delete mapping. Delete mapping. Here pass variable ID. Public string delete. Pass variable ID. Here easy. Car service delete ID and return redirect to all cars. Okay, now let's go implement our HTML files. First one, we will create here a form, and let's include Timeleaf here, and here we create form. Here th method. If it's creating, we will go from here to here. So it's post mapping with /cars. So go to new th method, post all uppercase letters, and th action will be /cars, and then th object, and we will here input values for model attribute car. So object will be car. Okay. Now inputs, input type text, th field, and now we can see all fields for car. For example, ID we don't need to write, so we have make. Now we can create input for a model and input for year of production. Now we can add ID. ID we should create for input to connect label. Label its text near input file. So ID, for example, such a name of file. Make a model and year of production. Okay, now we should create labels. label. Here we should write for which ID. First one for make. Then label for model and label for year of production. Model, year of production. And here a text of this label. For example, for make for model, and here, for example, year of production. Okay. Now we should create input type submit. So it's button which will do action to post mapping / cars. So input type submit, value, it's text of button, for example, create. Now let's try. /car / new. Here we have make, model, and year of production. Make will be, for example, Mazda RX-6, and year of production 2022. Great, and now we have new car. But we have one problem. I will show you. /new. For example, we should do unvalid values. If we click create, we will redirect it to /cars as we write in car controller. So if we have error, go to same HTML page, don't save. But we don't see errors, so we can add it. Go to HTML, and here under every input we should add div. For example, style color red, because errors usually red. Then th if equals $. Fields has errors, and here a name of field. Here it's make, and now th error and make, and same for every fields here and here. There will be model, and here will be year of production. And now let's try. It started. Oh, and we have error. That make should be present, model should be present, year of production should be from 1921. Now let's try Mazda, and we have only one error. Year of production should be from 1921. Now do it correct, and all works successfully. Now we can add a small change. Add here beer, here, and here. Now let's try. It's like a /n in Java. Okay, /new Mazda, and now start. Okay, now all looks pretty. Now we can create edit page. It's so easy. We can copy this form paste here and only change method from post to patch. Then action will be, let's check, page mapping /car/id. Okay. And here id equals car get id, and here edit. But in a new HTML methods, page methods is unavailable. So let's try /cars /edit for example 1. We have edit page, for example 21, but try edit and we will have method not allowed, and we have a reason for it. We can add filter to application properties, Spring MVC hidden method dot filter dot enable equals true. And now try. Wait. Okay, maybe 22. Edit, and now it worked correctly. Now we should maybe create navigation buttons. For example, at page of all cars, we should have a button create a new car. So we can do form page method get, because it's page of creating new page. Th action will be cars new, and input type submit. Value will be create a new car. Okay. Then we can create a form on car page. Here we can edit car or delete car. So two forms. Edit it will be get because it's edit page. So cars edit id, and id equals car get id mid, and here will be, for example, edit car, and then delete. It will be, we have only button for it, so delete /car/id, and here will be delete. Okay, and maybe new. Okay, maybe let's start and try. Go to all cars. We have here button create new car, so some values, create. Then we can go to one car, we can delete it, we can delete, and then we can edit, and this is it. Now it's another year of this Mazda. Okay, that's all. Thank you for watching. I hope everything was clear. So please wait for new lessons. I hope you will support me with likes and subscribes. Bye.